Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back for another episode of CWN Predicts, the WWE Hell in a Cell 2020 edition. Originally was going to go live at 3 p.m. on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Family commitments, though, so I'm going live on Twitch just to keep up with the stats. And then I'll be launching the podcast as a premiere, both on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube for sure. Hopefully Facebook as well, just depends on timing. But like I said, this is CWN Predicts, WWE Hell in a Cell 2020 edition. I was letting this go as long as I could to be able to do this live and then, post on YouTube to get the 3 p.m. premiere out there. But hoping that it was going to be more matches than just the 5. But unfortunately, every time I refresh WWE.com, so only the 5 matches still to take place. Now, there is a lot of stuff going on this afternoon. So obviously the kickoff show takes place at 6. You have the bump, which is taking place at 4 p.m. Live on social media, YouTube specifically. So I can see more matches being announced. Usually, for any kind of pay-per-view that any promotion kind of does out there, they usually go for the 8 matches, so to speak. So. Like I said, right now there's 5 matches that have been announced as far as the Hell in a Cell show goes. So I'm going to get to those there. So as you can see, scrolling down bottom there. So live tonight, 7 p.m. for WWE Hell in a Cell. And then the kickoff show is for free on the WWE Network as well as social media. That takes place at 6. So you probably have the panel of Charlie Caruso. Usually Booker T is part of that as well. Sam Roberts isn't part of that. Pat McAfee definitely won't be part of that anymore. He's NXT now. And then usually Jerry the King Lawler, JBL, guys like that. So it is an interesting night because it is a gimmick kind of pay-per-view. So Hell in a Cell. Some of the matches are taking place. I think 3 of the 5 that I'm about to announce are taking place Hell in a Cell for sure. And that's inside the structure. So Sasha versus Bayley. And you know what? I'll go through them out actually because there's only 5 matches. So if I give them away now, it won't make sense to talk about the match in a couple seconds or moments or so. But anyway, hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, Hell in a Cell taking place tonight, 6 p.m. for kickoff show. 7 o'clock is the main show on the WWE Network. 5 matches have been announced. So the first match is Otis versus The Miz. The winner gets the Money in the Bank contract. So they had Law and Otis on SmackDown this past week. Basically it's come down to The Miz challenging for the contract to kind of keep him happy there. So basically Otis puts the contract on the line. The contract that he won, during basically the initial stages of COVID. It was interesting. It was, like I said, definitely interesting to see because of the fact that you never suspected somebody like Otis to win that. Asuka ended up winning the women's briefcase, and we know how that went. But I say this, people expect Otis to lose it. But the thing is, as a wrestling fan, I do not want to see Miz in the heavyweight or the world title picture anymore, really ever again. He's been around the business too long. His gimmick is stale. He keeps going back to the same gimmick. He hasn't reinvented himself. And the fact is, I don't want to see Miz, going for the championship, so to speak. And, here's you got SmackDown. You've got guys like Kevin Owens on there. You got guys like Sami Zayn on there. Roman Reigns, obviously, is champion. Jey Uso's in the picture, but that's because his brother was hurt. They didn't know what to do as far as a singles run went. So, what do? Have Miz challenge for tonight, like I said, for the Money in the Bank contract, but have Otis keep it because, like I said, a lot of people suspect Otis to lose the contract to the Miz tonight. So I'm going to say Otis wins and retains the contract. That is my pick for that one there. So that is match number 1. Match number 2 of the night, Jeff Hardy versus Elias. It's kind of came out of nowhere with regards to Elias sneaking up and basically smashing Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy does the same thing, smashes Elias. So it's kind of one of those feuds that just came out of nowhere. And basically the two guys are, basically in the ring together tonight. So it's an interesting pay-per-view because there wasn't a lot of hype. There wasn't a lot of build-up. Obviously, we're getting rematches, with the co-main events and then obviously the next match coming up as well. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say if they want to basically make a star out of Elias. And the thing is, I heard something the other day with regards to him having an issue with his pectoral muscle, I guess. And hence the fact that we see him wrestling with a shirt on. I don't know if it's an image thing, as in like a cosmetic thing, or I don't know if he's actually been hurt. We'll have to wait and see tonight. But Jeff Hardy being moved to the Raw brand, I don't see him losing tonight. I think they're going to push him strong over there on Raw, especially with AJ Styles over there as well. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy for the win against Elias there. So that's match number 2. Match number 3 of the night. And I believe, like I said, this is inside Hell in a Cell. I'm just going to double check this now quickly. Yep, Hell in a Cell match. So we've got Sasha going for the title against Bayley. So obviously you had basically both women as champions, both women as tag team champions, 4 belts between them. And then, you know, they end up dropping the tag titles. They end up, Sasha ends up dropping the Raw Women's Championship. The only one left is Bayley. And then Bayley beats the crap out of Sasha. You know, on that SmackDown show where, you know, a lot of people seen it coming, but they didn't necessarily see it coming that night. You know, Sasha's injured, basically neck brace, all that sort of stuff. And Bayley's out there and gloating and saying that, hey, you know, you were never my best friend, blah, 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 blah. So finally, they go at it tonight. And Sasha Banks goes for the championship inside the Hell in a Cell. So it'll be interesting to see if Sasha actually can do it. The thing is, I think a lot of people, again, expect Bayley to lose. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Bayley comes out on top. I'm going to say that Bayley continues to win through the new year. I'm not going to say that, you know, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say when she loses that championship, it won't be against Sasha. Not sure necessarily who it's going to be, but I don't see it being Sasha. I see it being more like one of those kind of Paige moments where all of a sudden, or like a Gail Kim moment where all of a sudden you get this new girl that comes up, that comes in, like a Rhea Ripley, for example, comes in and destroys Bayley, ends up winning the title. So I think that would be cool, but I don't see Sasha winning the title tonight. So I see Bayley retaining. So there's match number 3. Match number 4 is the co-main event. Like I said, Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against the one and only Randy Orton. Obviously, you saw the promo before the Raw show went off the air this past Monday night with regards to basically Drew McIntyre with the Bolt Cutters, getting inside the cage, stare down, and then the show goes off the air. So it'll be interesting because I think honestly, this is Drew McIntyre's first cage match as far as being inside a Hell in a Cell. It'll be interesting to see what he does, how he performs. He's a big dude, and when I say he's jacked as well, you know what I mean. So it's it'd be interesting to see how his body responds to the cage, the Hell in the Cell. Whether or not they climb up the cage, probably not. Whether or not there's any kind of outside table spots, or you know, it's going to be interesting because you got 2 huge dudes going at it. Obviously, a lot of history between them. Randy Orton with the experience factor, Randy Orton with all his championships behind him as well. Does Randy Orton take the title off of Drew tonight? And how does Drew re-cement his legacy, so to speak, if that's the case? So we saw the ambulance match take place, outside interference. All of a sudden, Randy Orton ends up losing that match. So do we see Drew lose it tonight? Do we see it being a memorable Hell in the Cell where Randy Orton becomes champion? I don't know. It's interesting because we get Survivor Series coming up. And I don't know if they're going to do the whole team gimmick aspect where it's going to be teams versus teams. I don't know if NXT is going to be involved in Survivor Series. I haven't heard anything yet. I can tell you this, though. I don't see Drew McIntyre losing the title. Maybe I do. I don't know. I never really thought about it. The next match is easy for me, but this match here, I'm going to say it's a toughie. It's honest to God a toughie when you honestly, realistically think about the booking and how it could go. And Drew McIntyre was supposed to have that WrestleMania moment, you know what I mean? But he still had the COVID WrestleMania moment, so to speak. And he's been carrying the title like a champion. And where do they go from here? And Randy Orton doesn't necessarily need it. But if Drew McIntyre drops the title, Randy Orton basically has to win it. You know, well, so if Randy Orton wins the title, Drew McIntyre basically has to beat him to win it back. But when does he beat him? Does he beat him at Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble? WrestleMania, you know, scheduled to be Tampa Bay next year. So I don't see Hell in the Cell, but then all of a sudden you get another Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre match at Survivor Series, so to speak. I don't know. It's I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Randy Orton wins it. I'm not sure when Drew McIntyre is gonna end up taking it back. I'm not sure if it's gonna be next month. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a couple months. But I'm gonna say, yeah, Randy Orton, new WWE champion tonight. So that's my official pick there. And then finally, match number 5. So the main event, like I said, there are only 5 matches been announced, but more probably coming on the kickoff show as well as the WWE bump at 4 p.m. today. But like I said, main event is going to be Jey Uso challenging once again for the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. So inside Hell in a Cell, it's going to be, they announced an I Quit match. So basically, one of the 2 guys has to say I quit. If Jey Uso has to if Jey Uso says I quit, I think Roman Reigns has said he's out of the family. Roman Reigns is still pushing to be, the big dog, the force, so to speak. Rumor has it, and especially if they're going to Tampa Bay for WrestleMania 37 next year, The Rock and Roman Reigns. I had said, I don't necessarily think it was on a prediction show, but I said on one of the CWN weekly shows, I can see them pushing this whole family feud thing all the way through to WrestleMania when The Rock has to get involved. So I'm going to say that basically Jey Uso loses tonight. Obviously, he's better as a tag team wrestler. He's done a great job selling himself as a singles wrestler, but when it comes to Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and the whole storyline and everything that's going on over there on SmackDown right now, I've got to say basically Roman Reigns retains and he remains champion going through to WrestleMania. And I honest to God think, I'm going to say this right now, in October, so October the 25th, 2020, that Roman Reigns goes into WrestleMania as champion, doesn't lose the Universal Championship at all, and then goes into WrestleMania and then beats The Rock at WrestleMania to retain the championship. So I'm going to say that as a prediction right there. So again, 5 matches taking place. Otis versus The Miz. My pick was Otis. Jeff Hardy versus Elias. I want to say Jeff Hardy. SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm going to say that Bayley retains. WWE Championship. I'm going to say Randy Orton as new WWE Champion. And then Universal Championship. I'm going to say Roman Reigns retains there as well. So guys, that is it. Small, short prediction show, but like I said, only 5 matches taking place. Announced anyways. There'll be more matches, I can guarantee that. But anyways, check out the comments on YouTube. I'll post any other matches that have been posted, my predictions there. Next year I'm going to make this a little more official as far as predictions go to see how I score. But guys, you can keep track as well. Go back to the other prediction shows and see how I have done. So that is it for CWN Predicts WWE Hell in a Cell 2020. Well, 7 o'clock tonight on the WWE Network. Kickoff show takes place, like I said, 6 p.m. WWE Network as well as social media. We will be back following the show with regards to a recap show. I'll talk about the matches. I'll talk about the results. I'll talk about my thoughts on the event itself. And looking forward to this one, especially with the gimmick matches inside Hell in a Cell, especially 3 of them taking place. So we'll have to wait and see there. So that is Hell in a Cell prediction show. Like I said, about 10:30, 10:45-ish. I'll be back with the recap show. It just depends on when WWE, decides to end their show tonight. Check me out social media there at Chris Maloney CWN. That's Instagram as well as Twitter. Check out the website itself, cwnonline.ca. Thank you very much if you're watching on Twitch. Like I said, we'll be a YouTube premiere today at 3 p.m. Hopefully I'll get up on Facebook as well, but if not, I'll be able to share the links later on. But guys, that is it. Enjoy Hell in a Cell tonight. Enjoy the kickoff show tonight. And like I said, I'll be back after the show with regards to the recap as well as the results and my thoughts on everything at all. So guys, take care, and I'll see you later on.